How's it going, friends? My name is Twitchy Hedwig, and if you didn't already know this about me, I love birds. I am a self-proclaimed bird nerd, and I study ornithology, bird science, in my spare time. Now, another thing I do in my spare time is I play copious amounts of Pokemon. Specifically, I'm a shiny hunter, and I'm also a stream moderator for 2 Pokemon Twitch streamers, but neither of those things has anything to do with this video. What I want to do today is combine the 2 loves of my life, Borbs and Pokemans, into one video. As a disclaimer, most, if not all, of the entries on this list are just theories. They're not sourced from Game Freak or the Pokemon Company. So if you disagree, I'd love to hear your evidence down below in the comments section. And if you do agree, leave a comment telling me what your favorite bird Pokemon is. Now, without further ado, I present you with 5 Pokemon based on real-life birds. Number 1. TAILLOW. TAILLOW is an easy place to start on our list, and in researching this bird, I learned so much that I didn't know. For starters, I knew that both TAILLOW and Swallow were based on barn swallows. I couldn't verify this information from a particular source, except for Bulbapedia. But look at these guys, the resemblance is uncanny. What I didn't know is that our friend the Pokedex has underestimated our favorite little TAILLOW. If we read the Pokedex entry from Pokemon Y, it states that it dislikes cold seasons. They migrate to other lands in search of warmth, flying over 180 miles per day. Now, that sounds pretty impressive. However, per the RSPB, Center for Conservation Science, migrating swallows can cover over 200 miles a day in migration, and the maximum flight speed is listed at over 35 miles an hour. Fun fact, in December of 1912, it was first established that barn swallows migrate from Britain to South America, when a bird that was reigned in Staffordshire was found in Natal, Brazil. That is nearly 4,500 miles. I don't know about you, but for me, that's a pretty hard fact to swallow. Number 2. Hoot Hoot. Now, for this one, I didn't really include the evolution for Noctowl. Because to anyone with a slight knowledge of birds, it's incredibly obvious that this bird of the night is based off of a great horned owl. Bam! Mystery solved. Hoot Hoot required a little more digging for me. I almost took this little guy off the list because I really couldn't find anything solid other than a couple of forums for Game Freak where they suggested that Hoot Hoot was based on a Eurasian eagle owl. When I looked on Bulbapedia, however, it also stated that the origin for Hoot Hoot was an eagle owl. And the more I looked, the more I really think that they nailed this down. Not only are the eyes reminiscent of the bright red-orange eyes that Hoot Hoot has, but look at this puffy little thing. Another thing I noted is that Eurasian eagle owls allegedly are not prone to a certain behavior seen in some owls called the tall thin position, which is where an owl will stand completely upright and tightly compress its feathers against its body. Funny enough, this is a behavior more commonly seen in great horned owls. Maybe this is why Noctowl is so tall and majestic, and chubby little Hoot Hoot is rounder than a Pokeball. Number 3. Xatu. Now, for our next entry, I'm mostly going to be focusing on Xatu, because let's be real here, Xatu's just a freaking tennis ball. It's a little bit of a reach for me to say that it's based on a real bird. However, per Bulbapedia, supposedly, it's based on the same bird as Xatu. Whatever. But I'll be completely honest, I had no idea when I started this what these birds could be based off of. I thought that they could possibly be based on a short-tailed green magpie, which, color-wise, I think is a pretty nice match. However, per Bulbapedia, it seems as though that they're based on the resplendent Quetzal. There are merits for both of these theories, however, I'm going to focus on the resplendent Quetzal in this video. Firstly, unlike the short-tailed green magpie, which is based out of some South Asian countries, the resplendent Quetzal is based out of Mexico and South to Central America. And Natu and Xatu both have Native American references in their designs. Xatu even comes from Xat, which is a type of Native American totem. Its Pokedex entry even references that Xatu takes part of the Aztec and Mayan art of sun gazing, which is believed to grant supernatural powers. Another fun fact is that Quetzal comes from the root word quetz, which means to stand, and Xatu stands upright like a human. Lastly, Xatu is known for being silent, and I found this appropriate quote from the Wikipedia for resplendent Quetzals. One Mayan legend claims that the Quetzal used to sing beautifully before the Spanish conquest, but has been silent ever since. It will sing only again once the land is truly free. Number 4, Articuno. This is actually the only legendary bird I opted to include in this video. While Zapdos and Moltres are both similar to Articuno in the aspect that they are based on a combination of mythical creatures, in Articuno's case this is called the Samurk, which is derived from a rock, a giant bird from the Arctic, and real-life birds. Now, I wanted to focus on Articuno because in my opinion, it is the most similar to its real-life components than the other two. Because let's face it, Bulbapedia tried to sell that Zapdos is partially based on a hummingbird, and I ain't buying it. Articuno seems to be strongly based on a few species of magpie. Now, Bulbapedia suggests also that it's based on the white-throated magpie, which is understandable. Firstly, we can see that the coloring itself is similar, with a sky blue back and a really pale chest, but you can also see that they share a crest of feathers on top of their head. Also, the white-throated magpie has a particularly long tail, and Articuno has this ridiculous long tail ribbon thing. But with the tail thing, there's also another bird in this equation, which I personally think is even a better match. White-throated magpies sometimes hybridize with a species called the black-throated magpie jay. This thing's tail is ridiculous. Apparently more than half of this bird's measured length is its substantial tail. It also has a crest of feathers on its head and a similar blue and white coloring. I think that looks like a tiny Articuno, and I'm a fan. What do you guys think? White-tailed magpie or black-throated magpie jay? Let me know in the comments below. Number 5, Decidueye. Now we have arrived. This is the entry that gave me the hardest time in my research. There are no confirmed Pokemon sources stating what the Rowlet starter line is even based on. Rowlet, in my opinion, is a barn owl. Barn owls are sometimes also called grass owls, and they look very similar. I think that one is a closed case. I won't lie, I didn't even try with Dartrix. Let's just play that off, it's an emo barn owl. Whatever. The problem with the question at hand for Decidueye is that I found that this theory was a lot more hotly debated than the other ones on my list. There are multiple theories, and they're good theories, so I'm going to present you with 2 theories that I think are credible. I'm not taking credit for either of these theories. You can see all my sources in the description, every single one of them. So let's just get into theory number 1. Now, you guys are going to have to excuse my pronunciation of some of the words I have to say in this theory. I know I'm an idiot. Let's move on. Theory number 1 was the first one I came across simply by Googling what bird is Decidueye based on. And if you look at the first image result Google gives you, it claims that Decidueye is based on a stilt owl, which is a species from Hawaii with really long legs, for an owl at least. Now, that species has gone extinct, and supposedly this explains the ghost typing. But if we use extinction as an excuse for ghost typing, why are all fossil mons not ghost? Or Doduo and Dodrio, which are both based on dodos and moas, which are now both extinct. There are holes in this theory, and even though it sounds convincing at first, let me now do my counter argument. Theory number 2 is that Decidueye is based on a Pueo owl, which lives in the grasslands and forests throughout Hawaii. Now, besides the bird being from the same region that Alola is based on, Pueo owls are commonly thought to be manifestations in Hawaiian culture of an Aumakua, which per Wikipedia is a family god or a deified ancestor. Now, if you don't see where I'm going with this, a grass owl that is thought to be a spiritual deity sounds an awful lot like a grass ghost-type starter Pokemon we have all grown to love over the past year. Now, this is where it gets a little dark. Another reason it could possibly be a ghost type is because Pueo owls seem to not be very road-safe animals. Pueo owls, and this is really sad, Pueo owls tend to get killed in vehicular accidents because they dive towards car headlights in an attempt to hunt at night. Yikes. They are also victim to a very, very weird phenomenon called SOS, or sick owl syndrome. Pueo owls afflicted by SOS have been known to literally walk around in roads, dazed and confused, and quite obviously this will lead to collisions and therefore death. If you want to know more about SOS, I've linked some information in the description below. But regardless, I think you can see my point that Decidueye has a very appropriate typing, and I'm glad there are few to none cars in Alola. You guys, that's it. I finished my first Pokemon video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, like this video and maybe subscribe. I plan on making more videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and keep your Decidueye away from the road. Bye!